Welcome to the Peak Performance and Peak Satisfaction podcast with Master Executive Coach Sherry Gregoff. Sherry helps business people perform better, get rewarded handsomely, and actually enjoy their work. After having her own career turnaround, she now helps other high-powered business professionals experience the same. Join the movement to work differently.
Welcome to the podcast. It's great to have you here. We can be so busy delivering in our role in business that we neglect setting our own career strategy. The default mode is to wait for others to offer the next opportunity. We work hard, keep our head down, and trust someone will sort out our career path in return. It doesn't always work that way, and even if it does, they may steer us somewhere that mismatches what we truly want. I show you how to upgrade from waiting for opportunities to being the person who creates their own opportunities. Before we jump in, I want to shout out one of my clients who had a win in this area. Here is the quote from her. "I never contemplated that I could excel in my work, but do so with ease, while actually enjoying my work and life. It just never seemed possible and never made its way into my plan. Even on earnings, I haven't stopped to evaluate what return on my investment of work would make it worthwhile to me." This client was taking time to reflect on her career and what she wanted next. It felt foreign to her. Her performance was always excellent, so roles came to her. She hadn't stopped to think about what she might want next. When we discussed what would be possible and set out with a definition of success for our coaching engagement together, she realized she never aimed for this combination of results. She tends to be happy-go-lucky and likes to have fun, but at work she couldn't always bring that demeanor. In fact, her high-stakes and high-risk career had taken a toll on her health over the years, leading to some nasty scares and serious surgeries. When her doctors told her that her work was the likely cause, she still felt surprised. She didn't remember discussing her stress levels with them, but evidently it was apparent to them. Where she landed in her career and the toll it took all seemed to happen around her. But at long last, she decided to get in the driver's seat. She was going to set her career vision and a strategy to achieve it. The possibilities seemed endless as she looked at her work through this new lens. This is where we start, picking up the pen to write the next chapter of your illustrious career. It may be for the first time. Seeing this incredible opportunity ahead and seizing it can be exhilarating and energizing, even if a bit unnerving. Waiting is indeed not a strategy. You can step off of autopilot and outgrow the routine that landed you there in the first place. Similar victories are shared by all of my clients, and I have experienced it too in my own career turnaround. So let's hop to today's podcast content and get you on your way to experiencing this also. There are things we plan and things we let unfold. We plan vacations. My family takes this to the next level. We don't have a Gantt chart or project plan, but we get pretty close. We plan weddings. My husband and I met during Six Sigma training. Can you imagine when two people like that come together and then plan a wedding? Yeah, it's a whole thing. We plan retirement. We engage financial planners. We calculate whether we will have enough funds to have the lifestyle we want in retirement. Yet many of us spend almost no time intentionally planning our careers. Instead, you're working hard. You're producing results. You're managing projects, meetings, deadlines, and teams. At home, there are spouses, kids, aging parents, errands, and responsibilities competing for your attention. Most days, you're so focused on what's directly in front of you that you rarely stop to think about where your career is actually headed. It's unusual to actually carve out time to think about where you want your career to go or what you want your life to look like. But just like in business, when you're constantly focused on what's due this week and what's right in front of you, you don't create space to think about what you actually want to create next. Years and decades, they fly by while you're just doing your job. When this is happening, we don't even recognize it. We have great careers, so we just come in and get the job done. There is always something to focus on in the business itself. A new rollout, a setback. There's never a dull moment, really. So it's easy to stay caught up in the work itself and not even take a moment to consider how much we like what we're doing or what we might want to do next. We say things like, let's just let this play out and see how year end goes. Then comp, then promotions, then maybe we relax for summer, or we get through the next busy season at work. There's enough distraction to let years fly by without critically thinking about how you're spending your years in your work. And even if we do, we sometimes tell ourselves that waiting it out is best. You wait to be tapped on the shoulder for opportunities, or you defer to your manager to direct your career path. You want a leadership role, but you've never told your supervisor. You hope someone notices your work and creates the next opportunity for you. You keep waiting until things settle down before thinking about your next move. You say yes to opportunities because they seem like the logical next step, instead of asking whether they're taking you where you want to go. I have said before that my career opportunities landed in my lap. That, of course, is not true. All the work I did is what opened those doors. But when we say things like that, we convince ourselves that it's happening to us, that we are just bystanders watching this career unfold. That's not really a fun place to be. You feel at the whim of people and business around you. Waiting is hoping, and hope is not a strategy. Having done this myself and having seen the regret on so many of just going through the motions rather than creating a career that they loved, I urge you to not waste another quarter or another year playing it safe and seeing what happens. Stop waiting for someone else to shape your career and start making intentional decisions about what's next. It's time to work your career on purpose rather than by default. Because if you don't decide where you want your career to go, someone else eventually will. It's very easy to spend years moving in a direction that you never intentionally chose. But it's difficult to build a career that you love if you've never taken the time to define what that looks like. So here's some reasons why we get stuck waiting. And you can think about, what is it that you're really waiting for? We may tell ourselves it's the promotion, the raise. But here's what I find we're really waiting for underneath. Number one, waiting for recognition. We keep our head down, we're doing great work, and we're trusting that a good person somewhere will recognize us and be sure that we're taken care of. But that doesn't always happen. Everyone is worried about themselves. Everyone is worried about the next business deliverable. Hoping the recognition will come isn't enough. Number two, we might be waiting for confidence. We think we need to be confident in what we are going for before we pursue it. But how and when will that confidence show up? Maybe we think subconsciously it's years of tenure in a role. But then again, I've watched people use that against themselves as a negative, that they've been in one place for too long. We think confidence shows up on a white horse, but the truth is, it's only built by taking calculated risks and proving you can do it to yourself. Number three, waiting for permission. We think we need someone else to tell us that we're good enough to apply for that role, that we tick enough of the boxes on requirements to be worthy of consideration. We get this ingrained in us as children and become so accustomed to asking permission first and trusting someone else's judgment that we may default to doing this as adults too. Have you seen a grown adult ask permission to leave a business meeting to use the restroom? It's like that, but we start seeking it before we do anything. We can give ourselves permission now. Number 4, waiting for a better boss. Some of us have been spoiled by working for amazing leaders. It's a blessing, but also a curse, because we start to believe that we need a great boss in order to be happy at work and to advance our careers for us. We again may think waiting it out is the play, but years pass by. We don't need our boss to change. What we need is to stop accepting that as a limit on what we can accomplish and our level of professional satisfaction. Number 5, waiting for circumstances to improve. We think that when the economy turns or the job market improves, then we can make a move. But we may be waiting a good long time for just the right circumstances. We may feel so stuck or that we are at the mercy of our external circumstances. All these reasons to wait and carry on with status quo seem safe, but can be incredibly frustrating and painful as we do it. We carry on thinking we are being risk averse, but here's the big reveal. It's actually the biggest risk of all, waiting as a strategy and hanging out in a situation that you have outgrown. The cost of inaction is far higher than the risk of change. The cost of waiting is not just financial. As opportunities pass you by unexplored, the cost of inaction is also your quality of life day to day. Your own confidence in yourself as you compromise and go against your values and priorities, not believing there's a way to work and honor what's most important to you at the same time. Opportunity cost. There's always opportunities, and if you've given up on being open to them, there is a real cost there. The benefits that you have foregone because of this. Fulfillment. We were designed to use our talents to make an impact. When we aren't, we're just treading water and therefore lacking fulfillment. Our energy. When we actively choose inaction, that feeling of being stuck or biding your time can drain your energy and replace it with dread. And lastly, time. We all talk about how time is so precious and so limited, but then we casually spend it or allocate it to things that don't offer an attractive return. Years pass, opportunities pass, and eventually we wonder why our career feels like it's happening to us instead of being created by us. When it comes to our careers, let's look at the alternative. If waiting, we know now, is not a winning career strategy, then what does a successful strategy look like? What's the daily experience and how does it contrast to the status quo or inaction? Here's what changes. Here's what we stop doing when we decide to stop waiting. You stop dreading Monday mornings. You stop questioning every career decision. You stop feeling guilty about wanting something different than what you have. You stop waiting for someone else to notice your contributions. You stop assuming that your manager is responsible for your career growth. You stop telling yourself that you'll figure it out later. Here's what starts happening. You start making every day, every week, every quarter, one that moves you closer to your vision. You start applying for the role that you actually want instead of the one that you think you should want. You start turning down opportunities that don't align with your goals. You start having conversations with your manager about your ambitions. You start advocating for what you want. You start pursuing opportunities because they support your goals, not simply because they were offered to you. You start taking a more active role in your career growth. What a different approach, what a different reality that is. But there's some other things that we need to clear out of the way before getting you there. And it's 4 lies about our work that we are led to believe that make us adopt that strategy to just wait it out. So, in times like these, where many leaders are being asked to do more with less, I'm seeing my feeds light up with layoffs galore, AI is seemingly taking over the world. I really do think it comes down to these 4 common myths that are tired and not helping us. So, whether you were taught these growing up, or you inferred them from those around you, or arrived at them from your personal experience, I assure you that shedding these beliefs today will clear the path to set your career strategy without this noise and without this baggage getting in the way. Myth number 1. Sometimes, as I dig in with business people on their ideal vision for their career, we uncover that they are pining for a life of leisure. Here's the thing. Would we really be happy sipping on straws and coconuts on the beach forevermore? I think not. There can be this pervasive feeling of, if only I could just luxuriate by the water, then I would be happy. I'm going to take the other side on this one. This may come as a shock because I love the beach, truly. In fact, I don't need much of an agenda to have a vacation at the beach. I spend time shoreside from sunrise to long after sunset. But here's the thing. Yes, I relax and rest, and I enjoy others' company. But there isn't a day where I'm not dreaming too. Making plans, thinking bigger, designing my life, my future, writing, creating. When pangs of annoyance come up in your daily life and you're faced with tasks that pull you away from that perfect future of leisure and rest, it's helpful to remember that a life of pure leisure wouldn't actually be all that enjoyable. Here's why. We are called to more than rest and relaxation for 7 days a week because we have these 2 basic human needs. One is the need for growth, that we feel challenged and that we're learning. The second is a need for contribution, that we have a bigger impact ourselves on the world around us. There was a time where I was missing both, and I can attest it's not fun. It doesn't feel good. Life can ring more than a little hollow. So if you aren't challenged in your work and learning new things, we know it can get pretty rote pretty fast. You may be feeling bored and underutilized. Without even realizing it, there is this wasted talent, this unmet potential inside of you just waiting to get out. And that's when I find the monotony of life, of routine can set in. When we stop learning, we stop reading, we stop seeking out new knowledge and new skills. It can feel like living life just going through the motions. And if you don't feel that you're making a contribution to this world in a way that's bigger than yourself or your own well-being, that can feel empty too. Incredible success without meaningful impact is unsatisfying. Contrast it to leaving a legacy, a mark on the world that is bigger than you. That type of purpose can be an ever-renewable source of energy. So when that impact ingredient is missing, sometimes we busy ourselves to seem significant. We may build up the importance of our tasks to fool our own selves into believing that our impact is noteworthy. So if you realize that you may be short on dreams, learning, or having an impact, this is the perfect time to dream big for what the next year will hold for you. And I'm talking bigger than the sitting beachside in rest and relaxation. You are holding the pen on what happens next in your life and in your career. It's never too late or the wrong season to learn something new. It may be exactly what helps you grow and have impact more than ever before. All right, let's move on to myth number 2. Work is our identity. Identity crisis can happen midlife, quarter life too, and often at retirement. Let's look at retirement to illustrate the point. Sometimes retirement can make you look 10 years younger in a matter of days. Sometimes retirement can mean a total loss of identity and lack of purpose. I raise these two extremes so that we can avoid the one and accelerate the other. First, if walking away from your job improves your health that dramatically, then you should know there's a better way now. You don't have to wait for retirement to enjoy that health right now. And yes, look 10 years younger. Neglecting self-care will lead to challenges that show physically and emotionally. So invest in your well-being now. And second, if your work is your identity, if the sole response you give when introducing yourself is your title at work, well, then you may want to look at the bigger picture now. I know it's customary in our culture to press young people into knowing what they want to be when they grow up. My son's wise guy answer to that is a human, and I'm getting pretty good at it. While he says that with a twinkle in his eye, it's actually the right answer. We aren't our careers. We are humans. Our impact on this earth should be multidimensional. So if you define your identity as your work alone, it will be a bitter day when you retire, or worse, lose your job or business. So zoom out and remember who you are really. More than a title, more than a tenure, more than an acronym after your name. A friendly reminder that in the end, some of these things that we focus on so deeply daily won't matter much at all. All right, on to myth number 3. Work is life. Why you don't have to bear the burden of earning a living anymore. Sometimes we fret about our work when we look at it as how we earn a living or put dinner on the table. Our catastrophic minds can fast forward to the worst case scenario. If I lose my job, I will surely be homeless and starving. So our work can be done under a certain duress or desperation, like our lives depend on it. Of course, there are a great many scenarios between being gainfully employed in your current role and total destruction, and there are a whole set of possible scenarios that are better than your current role. If you are so focused on holding on to your current job with both hands, you may miss a whole other set of possibilities that are better for you. That duress that we speak of, it can be deadly too. If you are stressed out, ready for fight or flight all day in your work because you think your life depends on it, you will be worse for the wear. This can manifest as not being present for all the other areas of your life, including the other people who are missing really being with you while you are preoccupied with worry. This can show up as physical ailments and disease that can hit hard and fast or prolonged and painful. Our work is not our life, though if we play our cards right, we are doing our life's work. Lastly, myth number 4. Our value is based on our achievement. Beating yourself up for that last misstep at work, it isn't that serious. Here's how to shake it off and to get back to great performance. Achievement and accomplishments can feel good. We are naturally driven to perform. When it starts to turn into a slippery slope or double-edged sword is when we think that our own self-worth is dependent on our achievement. When you don't see the results that you wanted, it can start to make you doubt yourself. It can even start to make you beat yourself up. This conflict and self-loathing usually will make you less effective than if you were to take setbacks in stride. It's easier to take disappointments in stride when your confidence is unshakable, when your self-worth isn't solely based on your achievements. Radical acceptance of who you are on this journey of growth can go a long way. In our collective goal to perform better, it's important to be aware of this dynamic to the extent that it thwarts your performance. The sweet spot is feeling that drive to excel but also giving yourself grace when it doesn't pan out as you had hoped. It helps you get right back in the saddle and keep marching forward without distraction. Earlier this week, I taught a masterclass called Take Charge of Your Career, where I walked through the simple 3-step framework I use with coaching clients to create more clarity, confidence, and momentum in their careers. If you missed it and would like to access the replay, you can request it at the link. In this masterclass, I taught the default strategies that most professionals rely on, which don't work, and why, such as work hard, play hard, knowledge gathering, quiet quitting, and rage applying. Then I offered my career strategy roadmap for how to get clear on what you actually want instead of chasing someone else's goals, how to identify what's keeping you stuck, the habits and patterns preventing progress, and how to create a strategic action plan for consistent progress, learning, and iteration. You can keep waiting for the next opportunity, or you can decide what you want and start creating it. If you're ready to stop waiting, register for my masterclass now. We lead in our businesses, and we can lead in our careers too. So it's time to get busy waiting or get busy creating. I hope you will choose that second door with me and enjoy the spoils that await from driving what you want in your career. Until next time.
Looking for support in applying the principles and strategies in today's episode? Sherry coaches clients one-on-one as their trusted confidant and advisor, helping each client create the work and life they had only dreamed of. To schedule your complimentary career strategy session, go to sherrygregoff.com/apply to book time with her today. It's one simple step that can change everything.